Okay, so let's start with today's training session. So today is day 6 of the training session, and the agenda for the day will be. So today we have three agendas. Number one, we will be having an online webinar session on the guest service module for the scenario-based assignments for next 1 hour. After which we will have a Q&A session for 2 hours, right? And after that, you'll be having a certification on the guest service module for 45 minutes, right? So this is the agenda for the day. I'll repeat it. Number one, you'll have a webinar session on the guest service module scenario-based assignments. Number two, you'll have a Q&A session where you'll be able to ask whatever questions you have on the guest service module, right? And post the Q&A session, there will be a certification that will be activated in your LMS on the guest service module, similar to what you had on the front office and housekeeping module. So today it's a day of certification for the guest service and guest service module as well, right? So this will be the agenda for the day. Now I'll just along with me, I have my trainer Robin, who will be taking you through the webinar session for the day on the guest service module scenario-based assignments. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Robin?
Yes. Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah.
And Krishna, we should wait or we can start because I see 3:20.
No, Robin, I think we can start.
Perfect. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's training day, which is 6th day. And we will be starting the assignments on guest service. I assume that you have already gone through the self-learning videos, and now your next task, which is guest service task assignments, will be activated. Let's continue with that, and I'll be sharing my screen now. Hope everyone can see my screen. Krishna?
Yes, Robin.
Okay, perfect. So now today we will be starting with guest service module. On this page, you will be able to click on guest service module, where all the others will be ticked except the assignment one, which we will be doing today. Right, so this will only be activated once all of these tasks will be completed. So I hope everyone has completed it, and I'll click on this assignments now. So total duration to complete this assignments is 75 minutes, right? So as soon as you will be starting, so you can start anytime, but as soon as you will be starting it, 75 minutes, you need to complete this complete test, and after that, this will be finished, right? So I'll be starting this task, and let us go through this guest service scenario 1, and there are total 12 questions in it. So let's start with 1. So the objective of this first scenario is that you will be able to create tasks, you will be able to add request type, job type, and service type, setting up a due time and all, right? So what is the task? The manager, while inspecting a unit W402 under 2-bedroom category, which is under arrival, so he found out that the main light is not working for the units, right? The guest will check in at 4 p.m. as per the information provided, and the manager will recheck the unit 30 minutes before arrival. How will you manage this, right? Now, with this, what we are trying to say is that this unit is under arrival list, right? So he has not checked in yet. So this cannot be a guest request. This is an internal request because guest has not checked in yet, right? It has been checked by the manager, and he found out this mistake. So how do we do that? First, how do we go to the guest service console? Under others, you have the option of guest service. You click on it, and the system will redirect you to the guest service console, right? Here, you will be able to see your guest service console with the rooming list. How do we start it? We'll go to the task list, click on add task, an internal task definitely because this is not an arrival. We will go to W402, right? This is the room, W402 under 2-bedroom category. This is an arrival room, and he found out main light is not working in the unit. So he will go in, he will select the job type as maintenance, service type as light bulb not working, and he will mention here that the main light is not working. He will be checking this 30 minutes before arrival. That is 3:30. He will be checking it. Or so the due time is something that I can add here, that this is something to be done before 3 o'clock, right? So I can mention the timing here. That by 3 o'clock you need to finish it, so that he can check half an hour before, and if any other issue is there, then he can simply check the same also, right? So this is something that we are doing. We are adding up a task, and we are adding a due timing also in this, right? A complete job type, service type, and the description has been added. Based on that, we have added the due timing and due date also. Yeah, and you can click on OK. We have added a task for W402 with the due time as 3 p.m. as they need to check this half an hour before, right? If you are able to do this, then you can simply mark this as complete, and you can submit your answer, right? We are trying to create a task that we did. We added a request type as light bulb not working, job type, service type we have added, and then we have set up a due time and date. This is what the objective of this particular task, that you need to do all these operations which we have done in this particular task. Right? So with this, I was able to complete this. So I'm mentioning it as completed and submitting my answer. I've done this. Now system is taking me to the next scenario. Right? Hope everyone has done it. So let's move to the next scenario, which is scenario number 2. After completing this task, what we are trying to do, we are trying to assign staff, and we are trying to add remarks and mark the incident time. Right? This is the objective of this second scenario. So what is the scenario? Mr. Lewis from the maintenance team has assigned the task to Ms. Tara Patrick with due time as 3 p.m. and added the remark as work in progress and any special note. Please perform the above task in the system and write the comment below if necessary. Right? So we are trying to assign the staff. We have already added a task here for maintenance, right? From the scenario 1, we have already created a task, right? Now the next is we have to add remarks. We have to mark this as incident, right? And we have to mention this, that this will be due by 3 p.m., which I have already done this in our previous task itself, right? So how do we do that? We can click on this pending. We can assign the staff as Tara Patrick. That is what we said, that this is assigned to Ms. Tara Patrick. We have assigned this to Tara Patrick. The status is in progress now, and we are now adding the remarks as work in progress. Right? Now this work is in progress, and I click on OK. So with this, our second scenario is completed, which is about assigning the staff and adding a remarks to it. Right? Since it was due at 3 p.m., which we have already selected in our previous task, so this is already selected here. If I click on edit, right, and due time is already, if in case you want to change that, if requested, then you can also change the same. This is already there. Right? With these two, completed it, because these are the two things that I need to do in this particular scenario. I have done it, and I can click on submit answer. Hope everyone has done the scenario 1 and 2. And now we will be moving to 3. The both scenarios were interlinked. So that is the reason we were able to complete the scenarios within 9 minutes, within 8 minutes. Let's go to the next scenario. And what is the objective? We will be able to view the task for any selected location based on created due date, right? Selection based on job type and service type to view only the escalated task and view by the current date. So my task is, so just to answer one thing, that whenever you are assigning this task, it has to be done manually. There is no automation that will work and assign this task automatically. It is a manual task. You have to go into the task and you have to assign the available staff. Right, so what is the scenario? HSP manager wants to see all the pending tasks while giving handover to the next shift. Meanwhile, he also got a call from unit number W505 asking the status of the TAL, which was requested an hour ago. What steps will be taken? So what we need to do beforehand, right? There is some beforehand task that we need to do. So Mr. Tom Paul reserved with triple occupancy for 2 nights under 3 bedroom, unit number W505, arrival date this and this, need to be marked check-in, right? So let me just go into this W505. Okay, so W505, there's no one. So I need to assign one reservation here.
Robin, there's a reservation called Tom Paul on the screen.
Yeah, so I need to assign that.
You need to assign and do check.
So I will be moving him to unit number 505. Right. And now I'm moving it to W505. I need to mark this as inspected because the check-in is only allowed in inspected room. Mark this as check-in. Now one beforehand is done, that is mark check-in for Mr. Tom Paul. The next is please create a task for TAL request in unit number 505 requested 30 minutes before the assignment start. Right, so what I will be doing, I will be creating one task for W505 requesting for a TAL, right? And done. So this task is already there in the system now, requesting for hand TAL, right? It is already in progress. So these two are the beforehands that we need to do. We have to mark check-in, Mr. Tom Paul, and we have to create one task for hand TAL before starting the scenario. Right? So our scenario says that HSP wants to see all the pending tasks while giving handover to the next shift. So how do we see all the pending tasks? You are here and you will be able to see all the tasks here, right? You can simply click on pending here, view by pending, and all the pending tasks will come. And in progress, both the things that you need to see here. Anything pending or in progress, right? You need to add these filters to view all the tasks which are right now open. In progress and pending are the only status which show that the task is still open under the open status, right? Another way of checking this is that you go to the dashboard and you will be able to see here that right now what is the current status. There are total 2 tasks which are in progress. There is nothing new. It means pending. So there is open 2 tasks which are there. You can simply click on it and system will take you there on that open task. right? So this is there right now. So as per my first scenario, HSP manager is actually checking all the pending tasks, which we have seen using the filter. Meanwhile, he also got a call from W505. So what is the next thing he need to do? He need to search for W505 here and click on search so that he can be able to see here that Antal was actually given, but it is right now not delivered. It was given 30 minutes before, but still it is not delivered. Right? So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to see all the open tasks, as well as we want to see, we want to use filter based on the unit number, based on the dates, is it due date, created date, or based on the service type. If he's saying that I want to see Hental only because he has requested for Hental, so I'll be able to see only Hental, right? So these kind of filters is supposed to be used, and that is what is the objective for this particular scenario, that you will be able to use scenario filters based on the request, whether it's unit number, date, anything. Right? With this, I will be able to mark this as complete. Right? So I've done 3 scenarios. And now I'm moving to 4th scenario. So after completing this task, I will be able to see escalated task, reassignment of the task, checking the failed task, checking the task timeline, and closing the task. Before that, it is very much necessary that the task should be escalated, right? So let us work on it. Perfect. This is already in progress. So the new manager checked the request already escalated by 30 minutes and the person assigned is not available for this task. He checked the task history where the initial assignment took time, thus the task escalated. New assignee, Ms. Tara Patrick, completed the task in minutes and manager marked it as closed. Right? So the new manager checked that the request is already escalated, right? So give us a couple of minutes or seconds because this needs to be escalated in order to show that. Krishna, hope my voice is clear today. All right.
Oh, yes, Robin, it's clear.
Perfect. And the screen is also visible correctly.
Yes, yes.
Just give us a couple of minutes, guys, because I'm waiting for this to get escalated. Just give us a second. Let me quickly check one thing.
So, Robin, I think the escalation is there now.
Yeah, I got the escalation.
Yeah.
Just let me share my screen. Hope everybody can see my screen again. So
yes,
as per this, the new manager checked the request and it's already escalated, right? By 30 minutes is something that I'm not taking right now because we are already in the session and I cannot wait 30 minutes right now. So the person who is assigned is still not available for this task, right? So Michael Douglas was actually assigned to it. I can still see he is not available. So how do we see the escalated task? The escalation will always be denoted with this triangle, yellow triangle, which is an alert triangle. And it will also mention here that escalated to what level, right? So for example, it is already mentioned here that this is escalated to L1, level 1 with that sign, right? So how do we identify? Either we can see with this sign or we can click on this escalated and click on search. This will only come up with the escalated task, right? You can use this filter. The next is that he is still not available. He checked the task history and initial assignment took the place, and then that's the task escalation. So how do we see that? We can click on this task ticket number, and I can see here, this was actually created and escalated to level 1. Then the initial assignment took the time, right? So what is the next step? Michael Douglas is still not available. We need to assign this to Tara Patrick as per this, right? So what we will be doing, we will be clicking on this sign of reassign. We will be selecting the staff. So right now, Karen Johnson is showing as available, right? So instead of Miss Tara Patrick, you can choose any other staff which is showing as available, because Miss Tara Patrick might not be available as per my task, but you can use any staff to reassign, not Michael Douglas. So any other staff, then Michael Douglas will work. So I'm choosing here Karen Johnson. The task is still in progress. I can mention here that the initial staff was Doug. Right? I can mention the remarks. I can click on.
Robin, I'm sorry to stop. There's a request to enlarge the screen. Can you please increase the font size?
Okay, that I can do. That is. Hope it is visible now.
Yeah, I think it's visible to everyone now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, Robin.
So now I can see here, earlier the ticket number was SD8, which is now changed to SD/1. That is, it is reassigned at after first escalation. So what happened to initial request that was raised? That is SD8. So SD8 is actually a failed task, which will come when you will click on include failed task and click on search. You will be able to see here SD8, which is failed after escalated to level 1, right? No action can be done on it. The following task is already created, SD8/1, right? With the same name, everything same except the due time. The due timing is changed to the new one, right? This is what we are trying to do. We need to view the escalated task, reassignment of the task. How do we check the failed task? How do we check the task timeline? And how do we close it? So as mentioned here, new assignee completed the task in minutes and manager marked it as closed. As soon as they will mark it as that this is completed, you can click on it in progress. Apologies for my internet. Right now it is done. I can mark it as done and okay. Now this is marked as done. So it is completed within 2 minutes. That's what we have mentioned, that this is completed within minutes, right? And manager marked it as closed. So we have marked this as closed and it is done now, right? We have closed the task by clicking on it and marked it as done. right? Since I was able to do it, I'm able to mention it as completed. Otherwise, you can mention need clarification. We will take up the query if any, and I can submit it. With this, I was able to complete 4 scenarios, and now we are on the 5th scenario, right? Let me go to the next thing, but before that, there is some task that I need to do beforehand. The first is we have to mark Rene Tiemann as checked in, which is reserved for 2 adults and 2 children for 7 nights under 2 room category, and unit number W602 need to be assigned. So let us do that. And this will be under, 2-bedroom category. So let's see 2-bedroom category. And the name of the guest is Rene. Right, so I can see here Rene Tiemann with the reservation ID. I can click on it. Right, so this is a checked-in reservation for 2 adults and 2 children, and we need to give her W602, right? So I need to move her to W602. Right, so since this is a checked-in reservation, we need to move her or him to the inspected room only. Right. Assigned unit, the reason is incorrect mapping, and move. So, right, so as for the status, right now Rene Johnson is in unit W602, right? And as per the task, the next thing is create a task for AC repair in unit 602 3 minutes before the assignment start. Here you need to select unit W602, job type as maintenance, service type as AC not working, and assigning as Dynahelp, right? So let's do that. I'll create a task here, right? I will be selecting the unit as W602, job type as maintenance, service type as AC not working, assign staff as Dynahelp, and it is in progress, and I click on OK. So these are the 2 things that I need to do beforehand. I have done it. Let's go to the scenario now. Now the scenario says that HSP manager who took over the shift after reviewing today's ongoing task and shift handover sheet, he started assigning staff based on the roster, right? So for 2nd floor, it is Cham and Claire Truman. And for 3rd floor, it is Lucille, Tara, and the Francis. For the 4th floor, it is Georgios and Karen and Barnes. So let's assign the staff. How do we do that? I go to the guest service console, click on guest service. This is the main page. I will be selecting here the unit, the floors, right? So my first thing is that I select the 2nd floor, right? I need to do this based on the floor, right? And right now what I'm doing, I'm just assigning the staff based on the roster for housekeeping. I selected all the units. Click on assign team, housekeeping, right? So what we are saying on this floor, Chime, Wills, Claire, Woodgate, and Truman is available. Karen, Michael Douglas, or if it is about maintenance. Give us a second. Yes, it is about maintenance. So first of all, we will only select right. So we will only select the one we are saying that they are available, right? Floor wise. So in this, Cham, Claire, and Truman. Cham, Claire, Truman is available. I click on save. Apologies, just taking time. Okay, so these three staffs are now assigned to second floor. Now let's go to the third floor. And on third floor, these three are available. I go here and I click on 3. I selected all the units and I will assign the team member under maintenance. So Francis and Tara. And I saved it.
Hello.
Right, this is about third floor. Now let's see about the fourth floor. On fourth floor, Georges, Karen, and Bernice is available. So once this will be completed, saved, I will go to the fourth floor also. And I go to the fourth floor. And on this, assigning the team. Under maintenance. So first why I'm clicking on it, because I want to unassign all the staffs so that I can assign the main one, what has been told. So on this, I will be selecting the Bernice, Karen, and Georges. And Karen is not available. So let's select someone else on behalf of it, which is Erich Fiz. In your scenario, the staff should be available. But if it is not available, select anyone which is not there in another 2 floors. And I can click on save. Right. So the initial of this task or this scenario is already done, that I have assigned 3 staffs per floor. Right. Now, the next part of this scenario is that, however, at the last moment, HSP manager found out that 2 staff, Michael Douglas and Karen, did not turn up. right? Hence the manager need to remove them from the list of assignees, right? Perform the activity. Okay, so how do we do that? Dear all, please take this name instead of Michael Douglas, you take this name as Claire Woodgate from the first floor, sorry, from the second floor, because first floor is something that's not available in this property. So you need to take Claire Woodgate from the second floor, right? Please mention that. And Karen is not available right now here. So we have already taken the another name based on that. So you have to select that name, Arich Weiss, right? So Arich Weiss from the fourth floor, if in case that's not coming to you. So here you will be selecting Claire Woodgate from the second floor. And instead of Karen, if it's not available in this list, then you will take the Arich name, Arich Weiss from the fourth floor, right? So we need to remove them from the list of assignees, right? So what we need to do, so first, since we have already assigned, and I can see that from here, what we will be doing, we will be going to the staff list and we will say that, for example, Erich Weiss is not available and Karen Johnson from the second floor is not available. If in case any task is assigned to them, right, will show up here, Otherwise, in system, you will be able to mark them as unavailable. So now, even if it is assigned to that particular floor and you have marked them as unavailable from this toggle sign, if you go ahead and reassign this task of maintenance, you will not be able to see these names even on whatever floor you are right now, right? So you can see here that I'm unable to see the name of Erich, though it is assigned, right? And also I'm not able to see the name of the Karen Johnson. It is also not here. Erich and Karen Johnson are not available in this list of assignment. So that is what the motto and the objective of this scenario, that you will be able to assign the staff, and after that, if in case you come to know that they are not available, you mark them unavailable from the staff list so that they should not show in this list of assignment. That is what the objective of that scenario. You pick up any two staff from that and you mark them not available and you check the list of assignee. If it's showing, then it is a problem. Otherwise, not show, and that is what the motto and objective of scenario completely. Right? So we mark it as complete. And we go to the sixth scenario now. So what we are trying to do in this scenario, that we will try to perform, we will try to see notifications, escalation notifications, and dashboard. HSP manager in the process of daily work, he or she going through the task as and when they are created from the bell icon. Suddenly they got the intimation about the task raised by W602 for AC not working escalated. So he reassigned the task to Mr. Diana Hall, right? So let's do that. AC not working. This was the task that was given. So the initial is that he's getting this as a bell icon. He's getting all the tasks that are created. He will get a notification. He will be able to click and see that particular task, right? Suddenly he also got a notification about the escalation of the task, right? Whenever an escalation task is happening, he will get a notification on the screen as well, right? So give me a second, let me show you how the notification will show. So hope you can see my screen again.
Yes, Robin.
Perfect. So as soon as the task is actually got escalated, there is an intimation like this will happen here, which will show at what level of escalation the task is there and what all tasks are escalated. So here I can see SD3, SD5, SD6, and SD9 are escalated. And based on their color, I can be able to see that L3, it means that it is escalated to level 3. Right? I can click on OK to dismiss this task, and I can simply go to that task list in order to reassign that task. So what is my scenario says that we will be able to see ongoing tasks through this notification sign on the top, right? You will be able to see daily task here, but the escalated task, you will get an intimation on the screen like this, right? Which will be refreshed every time a new escalation will happen or every time a new assignment will happen, right? So this is how you will be able to see the intimation about the escalation. Now we need to reassign this task. So how do we reassign this task? I click on it again and I give it to Danaher in progress. Okay. It is reassigned now on level 3. After the shift, a complete dashboard is checked for shift handover. Again, I am showing you that the shift handover will happen based on the dashboard. You will be able to see all the tasks here, and you will be able to see the task based on their current scenario. If it is right now in progress, you have assigned to someone and it is in progress, it will come under in progress. If it is pending and not assigned to anyone, then it will come under new. If you have closed today's task, that will come under close. Any escalated task will come here. They are in progress, will come under in progress overdue. And if you have closed the escalated task, that will come under closed overdue, right? So this is the explanation of this particular dashboard, and any handover of guest service, shift handover will happen based on the dashboard only. Okay, so this is what the scenario and this is what the motto was for this particular scenario. With this, I mark this as complete. Right? We have completed 6 scenarios of guest service. Now there is another scenario of lost and found scenario 1, which is a part of guest service. So if you see here, this is mentioned guest service and lost and found. So we have already completed 6 scenarios of guest service. Now we are doing the first scenario of lost and found. So what we need to do, so what we are trying to do, the objective here is that you will be able to log a lost request, how a lost is recorded, define the location, add the item type, how we can find the customer, send email directly to the customer, right? We have already done that yesterday in training, but let's see how we can do it using this particular scenario. Mr. Mike Taylor at the time of checkout mentioned that he lost his watch today. When asked, he mentioned that it was a Rolex watch and with a black strip and golden dial. Last, he remembered that it was with him when he came back from the tournament. He requested to add request in the system and share the request number. He was staying in W301 4-bedroom apartment, right? So last time, what he's mentioning here is that Mr. Mike Teller, who is staying in unit W301, lost his watch. Last he remembered that it was with him. It means that last he remember it was there with him in the room itself, right? So we will go to the lost and found. We will add the lost request. The location is W301. Okay, let me first see whether that room is occupied. Yeah, so Mike Keller is there and it is actually occupied. So let's go to the 4-bedroom, W301, Mr. Mike Taylor, right? So as I mentioned, this will always show the last 2 reservations. So what you need to do, you need to only select the room. The reservation will come automatically. It is actually reported by guest only. So you will be able to mention the name here, Mike Taylor, right? Then the request type as high value. Item name is watch. The description will be mentioned as we have mentioned here, a Rolex watch with black strip and golden dial. This is the description of the product that they have lost, right? We will mention here that last, remember, right? He requested for an email for the request. So I will click on send email. We will mention the email address if it is not there in profile, otherwise system should automatically take from the profile. I'm mentioning my email address. You can mention your own email address so that that email, the notification email can come to your own email addresses. With this, I can click on OK and the request is for the lost and there is an email for the same which came to you. That means it should go to guest, but since you have mentioned your own email address, so this email will come to you with the request number, the item that you have lost, the description, and the current status. Right? This is what was the scenario, and this is what we are trying to do in this particular scenario. Right? Since we have marked this, everything is done. So we are marking this as completed. Now let's go to the lost and found scenario 2, where we are trying to mark the status change as found, change reported by, and completion of lost and found, right? Around a day later, staff Michael Douglas found the watch near the fountain in the lobby. As informed by the guest, same has been delivered to him via courier, right? The same scenario, following the same scenario, scenario 1, now the guest has found that watch. How do we log that? This is the request that we got. We will click on edit because what is our main objective? Our objective is first to find out this particular request. So the request is already there, which I can see here. But how do we find that? You can find it using the number. You can either find it by the date, the guest name, anything, right? When we are doing it, I can click on edit after finding that particular request. Now, first objective is that we will be able to change the request. Now we have found it. So we have found it, and we are also mentioning that we have couriered it to him. So it means it is delivered to him. We have returned it, right? Returned it a day later. Now this time it is actually reported by the staff, Michael Douglas, right? This is everything. And we are also sending an email saying, the remarks is, courier is sent by the return. With this mentioning, I'm clicking on OK. And this time the request is actually closed, right? It was actually reported by Mike, but it is returned by Michael Douglas, as we mentioned, right? And if we check our email, we will be able to see the email mentioning that this is returned, right? This is the Rolex watch and this is the number. Everything is mentioned in the email, right? And the request is closed. That is what we were trying to do. We were trying to close the completion of the lost and found. So this is the completion, that we found the item, we have returned it back through courier, and this time the request is closed. So we are marking it as completed. Right? So right now we are on the 9th question, but the 3rd scenario of lost and found. What we are trying to do here is, our objective is that we log a lost request. Lost is again defined. The location is defined. Item type is defined. So what we are doing here is, Maria Reese from W205 called the reception and mentioned that she's not able to find the champagne bottle in the room today. When asked, she mentioned that it was Dom Perignon champagne and 12 years aged. That's it. What we are doing it now, we will be finding this under W205. We will again go back to our screen. We will add a lost request, right? W205, right? The name of the guest is Maria Reese. And the guest has actually reported this. Maria Reese has reported it. It is actually the liquor she has reported, and it is a champagne bottle. The item name. The description is Dom Perignon champagne 12 years aged. This is the description, right? She has requested to send an email also. So we will click on it and we will mention the email address of the guest, and we will click on OK. We have this time reported a lost item for the champagne bottle. With this, we have reported this and everything is done. This is done. This scenario is done with this. Log of the lost request. We have defined the location of the room, add item also. We have found the customer using that guest lookup, Maria Reese, and this is done now, right? So we have marked this as completed and submit answer. What we are trying to do, this time we have found it and we have disposed of because nobody claimed that. So let's see what it is. Around a day later, staff Karen Johnson found the champagne bottle inside the room in the bedside cupboard. However, guest is not reachable to return the same. Right? Same request. Again, we can find this request using the filter of ticket number, guest, location, right? I can click on edit. This is actually found by the staff name is Karen Johnson, right? And the remarks is found in the room website. This is what we mention here, that this is found room side, bedside cupboard. Right? Since this guest is not reachable, what we can do, we can change the request type from lost to found first. So what happened? Now we have found it, and this is the expiry date of it. But this client or this guest is not reachable. Since he or she is not reachable, what we will do, we will just dispose this off by this guest only, by the staff only, and we will mention the remarks as disposed of as guest was not reachable. And with this mention, I can simply click on OK, and this is closed. Again, a request is closed using the option of disposed of. Either you are marking it as returned or disposed of. In both the cases, the request will be completed and you will not be able to edit it more or any further after this completion. Right? So since we have closed it and we were able to mention this, so I've marked it as closed, completed, done. Now we will be doing two more scenarios and we are done with the guest service module scenario. And in this, what we are trying to do, we are trying to log a found request directly with defining a location, item type, and reported by. Right? So this time, what is the scenario? While cleaning the fountain area, staff Karen Johnson found a ring, same has been reported in the system, right? This time, no mention of the guest because we don't know who is the guest. A simple found request is raised at this location, at the location of fountain area, right? So find this location of fountain area, and staff Karen Johnson has reported a high valuable thing, which is a ring. Right? And click on OK because I cannot send email to any guest for this. So this is a found request which is raised, and with this found request, what I can see here is an expiry date, which will be based on the hotel decision that what should be the expiry date for each found item. This is what we are trying to do. We are trying to found item, defining the location, add the item type, and reported by. And that is all we have done in this task. If you have completed it, mark it as completed, right? A simple scenario, and click on submit answer. Now, this is the last scenario of this, which is about checking the status. So Mr. Mike Taylor called up and to check the status of his request. So the staff need to find the request using the name, item, or unit number, right? So Mr. Mike Taylor is called up saying that I've lost something and I'm unable to find it. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to find somebody from Mike. So here it is. Mike Taylor says that yes, we were able to report, we were able to find out your Rolex watch, and this has been returned and couriered to you at this date and time. And you need to mention staff name, you can, otherwise you can just say that hotel has done the courier at this time, right? You can see here that courier is sent to by the hotel. So either the name of guest, or you can look it by the request number, because you have sent an email to him. he has the request number. So you can find out that he has requested. So here it is. He's saying that I have the request number LF1. Okay. So I can say here that LF1, and you click on search, you will be able to find out, okay, so this is a request. We have returned it, and you will be able to tell the guest exact status, exact current status of this particular lost request that he has raised. Right? This is what we are trying to do here. We were only trying to find the status of his request right now using the name, unit number, and item. Right? With this, I can mark this as completed. And once you mark this as complete, your complete test will be submitted. Right? You need to find out how well you were able to do it, because what we are trying to do here, we are trying to find out all the scenarios. With all the scenarios, what we need to do, we want to go through each and every aspect of guest service manager and the lost and found. This is what the objective of this particular scenario is.